welcome to Little Likac Podcast, episode 105. My name is Amanda and I'm coming to you from Derby in the United Kingdom. So you are very welcome to my podcast. My channel is about knitting, a little bit of crochet and all the yarny goodness. Today is a Friday the 5th of February, 6th of February, and it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. It's a very grey, cloudy day out there, so I thought actually it might be reasonably good natural lighting. I have to see now that my glasses, the window is reflecting my glasses. Anyway, today I have two finished objects to show you, one of which is one of my Make 9s. Yes, it is. So yes, I have two finished objects to share with you. One new cast on, some works in progress which include some of my 12 cast ons that I've made some progress on, and some are earlier whips that were earlier than that, and I do also have some acquisitions. Yes, I have been buying things. Some things I've bought that I kind of can justify, some things there's no real justification other than, oh, that's pretty. So let me show you my first, well, I'm going to show you my first finished item, but I can't show it to you physically because it was a pair of socks for my husband, and I finished them literally a couple of days after I last videoed, and I didn't want to make him wait nearly a full 2 weeks before he could get them. And actually his reaction was so cute. So here's a picture of the finished socks. Ta-da! They were made using Jamieson funny feet, and I can't remember the colourway number now because I haven't got the yarn ball with me. If I remember, I will try and put down here what the shade colour was. And I used Signet, going somewhere, Stu? And I used Signet Truly Wool, Rich Wool. Again, I'll put the colourway number down here. That was in the purple. And yeah, so I finished them. I think I filmed last time again on a Friday 2 weeks ago, and I think I finished them on the Sunday because I wanted to have them finished before the Monday, because on a Monday I kind of change over what I'm knitting on for the week. Oh, excuse me, let me turn my phone onto silent. Okay, so yes, on a Monday I kind of swap my projects for the week, or I make a choice over 3 or 4 projects I want to work on for the week. So I wanted to have that pair of socks finished before that Monday so that I could choose a different project to work on. So yes, so I had them finished and I put them on the arm of the sofa where my husband usually sits, and he hadn't noticed them, and then he went back into the living room and I heard him go, "Ooh, socks!" And he really did do it in that way, kind of like quite excited. I went, "Yes, you can have them now," and I think he was wearing them the next day. So yeah, you know, when you've got somebody who is very knitworthy and appreciates them. So yeah, so that was my first finished object since I last saw you. And then my Make 9 projects this year. There is a whole video of my Make 9 choices this year. I have done things slightly differently. Instead of picking out 9 projects that I want to work on this year, I did a random number picker and picked out yarn out of my boxes that are all behind me that are mostly full of yarn. But one of the boxes it picked out actually was a box that had some whips in it, and I was like, okay, that's fine, let's have a look in these whips. And I chose something in these whips that had only just been started. I was only part way through the rib of this particular project, and it had been started in January of 2025, so just over a year ago. So I thought, okay, that would be a really good project to say, right, I'm going to get that finished, because I cast it on as part of the 12 cast ons the year before, and it hadn't been worked on at all since then. So I was like, okay, let's see if we can get that worked on. And actually I had that finished again within, I think, 2 weeks. I can't remember now if I showed it to you. Don't think I showed it to you last time, but I could be, oh, I don't know, because I've taken the progress keeper. Yes, I had got that much done, because I'm fairly sure I've taken the progress keeper out to block it. So I think I was about there, if I remember rightly. I'm pretty sure I was. You can see I haven't sewn in all the ends, but some I did sew in as I went. I weaved in as I went anyway. But yes, here it is. Look at this. It is the Rothesay Tam, so a little hat designed by Mary Henderson. It is from the Knitter magazine, and oh, I am rubbish. It's right. Well, I'm not rubbish. I've tried to put things away, so I think I have put away. Yes, I believe I have put away the bag with all the yarn in and the pattern, etc. for this. So I had already made a cowl, although I'm not exactly sure where that cowl has gone. I've not worn it yet because I was going to wait till I got the hat and the mitts all made. So there is a cowl that I'd already done the year before. There is now the tam, the hat. And there is a pair of wrist warmers, fingerless mitts, which who knows, and I've just seen as well, unfortunately, where I did kind of weave in ends as I went. Look at that big hole there. That's probably where I didn't cross over the yarns very well. Ooh. Here. So I'm thinking, actually look at that, I can take that, that's that one there, that's fine. I can take that and use that to close up that hole, that'll be fine. Do we want to see it on? I haven't even tried it on. I think it's going to look ridiculous with my hair up as well. Let's see. I definitely think it would look potentially better if I had my hair down. So let's pretend I've got my hair down. Let's try and sort of like put a bit of hair down there. Oh dear, that's just getting worse, not better. Okay, bear with me. I might regret doing this. Oh dear. Right, might regret this. Let's see if it's any better. Oh dear. Maybe I've overly blocked it. Is that better? Oh dearie me. I thought it was going to look so lovely on me. And is that a bit better? Maybe. I have got a coat this colour and I feel that. Is that a bit better? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I feel that with the coat and the cowl, maybe it will look beautiful. I don't know now. Oh well, we'll have to see if we can style it. I mean, I do love it. It is really pretty. It was designed originally with, I think, Mary Wallin yarns, but I used Jamieson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight in the various colours. My Ravelry profile is linked below. I am Likac66 on Ravelry. And so if you want to see which colours I used, how I converted it to Jamieson and Smith colours, then if you go to my Ravelry profile and my projects, you will see it on there. So anyway, yes, that's my second finished item. I can't believe how hideous that looks on me. I'm sure though maybe if my hair was a bit neater, maybe I would make it work. Right, okay, so oh well, I do love it. I enjoyed making it once I actually set my mind to it. What I did actually was for about a week or 10 days, I worked on it for like a set amount of time each evening. So like about sort of between 5 and 6 every evening for about 10 days. I sat and worked on it while I was watching. I make myself sound really old lady now. While I sat watching Pointless. Also, I could not get the decreases and the pattern match here, so I just fudged it really. I don't think it matters. But yeah, overall I'm happy with it. I can fix that hole because I haven't actually sewn in the ends there, so we'll sort that. So, 2 finished objects. New cast-ons. I've only cast on one new thing, and that is deliberate because I am trying to work my way through some whips before casting on anything. So the only reason I've cast this on, well, there was a second cast on, but I abandoned that, so I'm not going to show that. I abandoned it. I didn't have the right yarn, it just wasn't working for me. So anyway, the new cast on that I'm going to show you is because on the 1st of February I opened up, actually I got my husband to open a ball of sock yarn that I had wrapped up last year for another pair of socks for him. So this is the only new cast on that I've done that I'm working on. The colourway or the yarn that he opened up was this, and I will tell you about this yarn in just a second. So having opened this, I went off to my solids to see if I could find something to use for heels, toes and cuffs, and again he had a say in that as well. We wanted to see if I've got a tealy blue. I didn't, but we both agreed that this was the best of the ones that I had got. So we've got these two yarns together. So the main yarn, this one, is actually a Rico sock yarn. So it is Rico Socks Sprinkly Stripey. And I bought this colour, this ball, last year with my husband specifically in mind. The colourway number is 008, and it does have a little picture at the back showing you how it will knit up. Now at the time when I bought this one for him, I did buy one in the same range for me which had got purples in, and I think at the time I thought, oh, it'd be cute if I knitted a pair for him and a pair for me at the same time. But because I am trying not to cast on anything new unnecessarily until I get down a few more of my whips, I haven't cast on a pair for me yet. I may do that later this year though. And then this one is a Signet Truly Woolrich, and it is the colourway 2137. These are 50-gram balls, and last year when I bought a load of sock yarn for my husband, I picked out about 4 or 5 balls of that sock yarn for heels, toes and cuffs in sort of solid darker colours. So anyway, do you want to see how it's knitting up? I'm knitting this on 2.25mm needles, 72 stitches, and I am at the heel flap. So I do think the blue is going nicely. It's not actually picking up any of the colours in here. So I don't know if you can see, there are some teals here. If I'd got a teal solid, I would have used that, but I didn't. But I do think the blue still is a nice contrast with it. Heel, I'm doing the heel still in the main colourway, so I will just do the cuffs and toes in the blue. But yeah, it's knitting up absolutely fine. I like up here as well, we've got a little bit of the lighter colour kind of mixed in with the dark. It's, yeah, I mean, yes, yeah, going quickly, as I often find self-striping and self-patterned sock yarns do. Yeah, get the heel flap done this weekend. Then I may put this one on hold next week. I may put this one on hold next week so I can work on something else. Though I do love having a pair of socks to work on, particularly when they're at the leg and the foot situation, at that part where all you're doing is stocking stitch or just round and round knit in the round. So we'll see how much I get that. I'll definitely get the heel flap and gusset done over the weekend, and then maybe I'll carry on with it next week. Maybe it will get put to one side for a week and come back out the following week. We'll see. So yes, that's my new cast on. So then what else have I worked on the last couple of weeks? So you did see this 2 weeks ago. I did another week's worth of work on it, and then this has been on hold this last week, so this might come back for next week, because as part of me, I definitely want to have this finished by the end of March, but some people are doing finish it February, and I would really like to have a few things finished in February, and this is a vest top. So there's part of me thinking I could get a vest top finished in, what have we got, 3 weeks left. It's the 7th of February, so it's 3 weeks. I am away over Valentine's weekend for Blackpool Northwest Winter Wool Festival, but then I am off for a week. So yes, I'll be away for a few days, but then I'll have a week off. So this is the pattern, and it is Recreate DK Stylecraft. It's a Stylecraft pattern. It is designed to use Recreate double knit, which is a recycled yarn. I'm not using that though. I am using West Yorkshire Spinner Elements, which is a really beautiful soft mix of tencel and merino wool, I believe. Definitely tencel and wool, does it? Yeah, well, it just says Falkland iron wool actually. And I'm using this beautiful colourway, which is Shell. So no, oh no, not just shell, it's seashell, and it is this beautiful pink, and it has got this beautiful luster. So I've made some good progress on this since you last saw it. So where the little sheepy is where I had got up to, and then I worked on it for another week and then put it away. So you can see how much I got done in that week, and I think I am nearly at the armholes. Not quite, but I'm close to the armholes. So it's a beautiful lace and cable pattern. I'm really enjoying this. I worked on this quite a lot while I was watching the new series of Bridgerton. It's funny, isn't it, how some things you have memories attached to the knitting of what you were doing or watching or where you were when you knitted it. Or was that just me? So yes, I watched the first 4 episodes of the new series of Bridgerton. I know I worked on this quite a bit while I was watching that. So I'm really pleased with that. So again, I kind of set myself a target when I worked on it to get at least 2 repeats of the pattern done. So I think that's going to come back out next week. So if I put the sock to one side, this might come out. So I've used nearly 2 full balls of yarn, and I've got 10 balls in total. So I'm at least 20% of the way through. And I want to get that one finished. Now, I cast that on over 18 months ago. But I did the classic thing of literally I cast it on, did maybe 2 rows of the rib, and then it just got put away. And then I didn't put it on my Ravelry page, and so I think when I was looking at what whips I'd got, it just got forgotten about, or I had it in the back of my head. But anyway, so now it is in my head. It is absolutely in my head, and I really want to get it done. I think it would be a lovely vest top. The next thing I'm going to show you though is part of the 12 cast-ons. But this will not get done in the next few months because this is a whole year project, and it is my temperature blanket. But I'm pretty proud of myself because you need to make a square for each day. Ta-da! Here are all of January's squares. I am not going to start sewing these together until half term week, which is the week after next. And then my plan is during half term to make sure I have got all of January's done. So January was cold. I've only used 3 colours in this. Well, you use white for every single square, and then you use one colour. The inside of the flower is the minimum temperature, and the outside of the flower is the maximum temperature. That blue there means minus figures. So anything below 0, that's called Sherbert blue, because I'm using Stylecraft Special DK, and that colourway is Sherbert. This colour is Cloud Blue, and that's for anything between 0 to 5 degrees. And then the yellow is called Lemon, and that's for anything between 6 to 10 degrees. So on that day, the lowest temperature was somewhere between 6 and 10, and the highest temperature was between 6 and 10. I can't wait to get over 10 degrees so I can put... Actually, when I get to 10 degrees, I will be putting in this green, which I believe is spring green, because I thought that would be a really good, nice colourway to use for between 11 and 15 degrees, because I thought when the temperature's getting into that kind of temperature range, we are getting into spring, and this one is called spring green, so I'm desperate to get some green in there, but not yet, unfortunately. And then the next one after that, I can't wait. That will be my 16 to 20 degrees, and I'm really hopeful that I'm going to get to use... I'm hopeful I'm going to get to use those 2 together quite a lot. But not yet, unfortunately. That is January. And I've started February, so I just said that today's February the 6th. I have done 1st, 2nd and 3rd, and they're buried in here. Yeah, we're still on yellow and blue. And I can't see when I look. I keep looking, checking the temperatures and checking the forecast for the next week or so. Don't think we'll be getting into the green in the next week. So I've got 1st, 2nd and 3rd. I'll probably over the weekend, maybe tonight, I'll do 4th and 5th, and then over the weekend make sure I'm caught up. So sometimes I do just one in the evening. Sometimes I won't do any and then do 2 or 3 to catch up. But I haven't had to. I've not got more than 3 days behind at any point. These ones as well. The ends are all sewn in. The ends are sewn in on most of these. You can see. I think there's about 4 or 5 where the ends have not been sewn in. To join them, you use the white. Now look. We are at the end of January, first week into February, and I've already got through all of this white. So I knew I was going to have to order more white, and I didn't want to use this ball for joining together. So I have gone online and ordered some more white, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, because it was the classic thing that if you spent over £30, you got free shipping. So we'll look at what else I bought so I reached over £30. So the pattern for this beautiful blanket is called A Year in Flowers, and the design is by Emkatcrochet. And I am using all the same colours, but I am using mine in a different, using different colours for the different temperatures, because she was using purple for the below freezing temperatures. As we all know, if you've watched this podcast for more than 10 minutes before, you'll know probably that I absolutely love purple. It is my favourite colour, and I could not bear the idea that I was only going to get to use purple for a few little centre holes, so that's why the purple for mine is in the 16 to 20 range. So I'm using the same colours, but I'm just assigned my colours to different temperatures. So yes, looks like there'll still be a lot of the blue, yellow and sherbet. Can't wait to get into this. Hopefully in February we'll get into this, and hopefully by March we'll be into this. And I'm hoping then this will get used in March, April, May, June, July, August, September. I'm hoping that will get used for a good sort of like 6 months of the year. I'm using a 4mm crochet for that as well. So yeah, I'm really proud that we are on the 7th of February, and I am up, no, 6th of February today, and I keep getting my dates mixed up, yeah, 6th of February today, and I am up to the 3rd of February on there. Pretty good, isn't it? I have to say, doing a podcast does help with the accountability for some things, but we all know it's not going to stay, is it? Not going to keep going, being up to date all year. Of course, my other theory is that will be an amazing amount of stash or an amazing amount of yarn used when I finish it. So it won't get finished until 2027, because obviously the last square will be the 31st of December, and then obviously I'll still be sewing it together and then do a border. So if I keep up with it, it could potentially be finished in the first week or 2 of January of 2027, and then I'm going to have a massive load of yarn to take out of my statistics, because at the moment 2026 is not going very well for the whole in and out. That was one of the reasons why I finished that that hat on the 31st of January. I considered waiting till the 1st of February to finish it, and then I could count it as a finish it February finish, but at that point my January stash statistics was that I had bought more, or had more come in than I had going out. So I very much knew that if I finished that tam, it was about 300 metres, it was going to tip me in to that I had used more had gone out of my stash than come in. Yeah, I have got a lot to knit in February if I'm going to do the same for February, which hence the reason I picked up this project that I'm going to show you now, because if I finish this in February, it will be, what did I reckon it will be? 800, about 1,000 meters. That still won't counteract what I've bought into February, but it will make a good start. So what is this project? That will be 1,000 meters. This is the Button Box Throw by Helen Stewart. And I have got in here a big cable, because when I put in my next colour later today, I will be putting it onto this big cable. Because last night I put it onto a bigger cable and it's still nowhere near big enough. So I thought, actually this now can go on a really big cable. So the Button Box Throw by Helen Stewart is a little lap throw blanket that is used, designed to use 10 gram minis. Now they could be just scraps, or they could be an advent calendar or minis that you've collected. And I had got a whole load. I'd got about 40 10 gram minis that I had bought, mostly in somebody's de-stash, and mostly in pinks and purples because they're my favourite colours. So I went through, and now I started this I think November, December time, and I went through and picked out 24 colours out of my 10 gram minis that I thought would go together really nicely, and then I took them out randomly. And I thought, right, I'll take them, lay them out randomly, and then if there's anything too similar right next to each other, I'll tweak it, and then that's the order they're going to be in. I'm not going to overthink it. So this is what we have got so far. Now, again, at the moment, this is looking like a hat. It needs to go on a much bigger cable so that you can see it in all its beauty. So if I'll try and hold it up here like that though, and then you can see the different colours I have used so far. So it starts here, and you do actually, you start with one colour, do it up in the middle, then this is colour 2, and then this is back to colour 1 again. Otherwise you'd only be using such a small amount of colour 1. So you do go back to colour 1 here. So we've got 1, 2, 1. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have got 9 colours in here so far. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? These are not colours dyed by me, although they are very much my kind of colours. As I say, these were 10 gram minis, most of which were bought from somebody who had hundreds, and I mean hundreds of minis, and was de-stashing. So I bought quite a few from her a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. So my aim now, as I say, is the 6th of Feb. I've gone up to colour 9 already. My aim is to do at least 1 colour per day. Again, even actually while we're away, I think there's a good chance I could still potentially do one of the colours. Depends if I want to take it away with me size-wise. But yeah, if I aim to do at least 1 colour a day, I will get this finished by the end of February. In fact, I'll get it finished by, I don't know, 22nd, 23rd, something like that. And if I can actually try and manage to get ahead of myself and put in, you know, maybe more than 1, maybe put 1.5 in on some days, then we'll get it finished even quicker than that. And then, as I say, that's going to be, I don't know, somewhere between 800 and 1,000 metres used, and more importantly, I will have a really pretty little lap blanket, little throw. So I'm really pleased with that. Let me show you what I've still got left to put in here. These are the colours that are still going to go in. That's going to be my very last colour. That will be on the border. So these 2 I think will be border. Okay. So the next one that I'm going to be putting in, you can see that I've just put in quite a dark purple. We're going to go into some lights, a lighter purple, more of a, I don't know what colour, beigey grey, pink, more of a bluey. So yeah, all of those are still to go in. I think that will be beautiful. I'm really enjoying using these. As I say, they are very much my kind of colours. But I will be putting it onto this much bigger cable. I am using a 4mm needle, which is what the pattern says to use. So Helen Stewart, her Her designer name is also Curious Handmade. So if you've not heard of Helen Stewart, but you've heard of Curious Handmade, it's the same person. Right, and one last whip that I have been working on. This is one of my 12 cast-ons. This was actually day one of the 12 cast-ons. It is a chunky cardigan. So again, my thinking was possible to have it finish at February. Certainly again though, aim to get it finished by the end of March. There is another make along that I'm trying to use as motivation, which is the Topping Out Mal, and that is run by Mandy from Mouse's Makes and Belinda from Belinda's Baubles. And the idea with that one is that you, January, February, March, those 3 months, you just try to finish off as many projects that you've brought into the year as you can. And so again, some of these things I'm trying to get finished by the end of March. So my aim is to not cast on anything new other than the March socks for my husband as well. Other than that, I'm trying really hard not to cast on anything new January, February and March, and instead try and finish off some whips. So I am still at something like, I don't know, 26, 27 whips. So, you know, I really would like, I've got 4 things finished so far this year, maybe 5. Cast on something new. Plus I also found, sort of like a week or 2 into January, I found a couple of things, a couple of whips that weren't on my Ravelry pages. But I've added them now and added them onto my whip list. So yeah, we just keep going. No, and actually I keep looking as well. When I think about casting on something new, I am then looking at my whip list and looking at my Ravelry project page and kind of going, no, actually I really want to work on that. I really want to work on that. So let's get this thing finished and then I can work on something else that I've started, but only just started. Anyway, so this is a chunky cardigan using King Cole Hedgerow Chunky yarn, which is this beauty. The colourway name for this one, I mean, look at that ball band. The colourway name is Wildberry, and I'm into my second ball of it. In a minute I'm going to have to go and put all these move all these progress keepers because I've not been moving them. But here we go. So look, see where that number 1 is? That's where I got to on the first day. And I've done all that. So this is the back of the cardigan. This bit here is the start of the armholes. I've got about another 15 rows to do or whatever, and then I think I'm just casting off the shoulders, I think, and that is the back finished. Oh no, I don't know if I've got the pattern with me. Where is the pattern? Right, I will put a picture of the pattern here so you can see it. Look at that beautiful cardigan. Look at the size of those sleeves. Aren't they amazing? So it's in, do they call this broken rib? I think it's called broken rib. I am actually thinking that the gauge, it's a little bit big, but the size that I'm doing was kind of the smallest size kind of for me. So if it is knitting up to bigger than the size would be, I think it's going to be okay. Because it's supposed, you know, it looks like it should be oversized anyway. So I'm just going with it. I don't, oh. Beautiful colours, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. So I'm really pleased with how this is knitting up. To be fair, this is a nice pattern to do. I can do this without looking. I can do this while reading. So I am reading at the moment Wuthering Heights on my Kindle, and I can read on my Kindle and knit at the same time because you haven't got a honk book and I've got like a Kindle holder. The reason why I'm reading Wuthering Heights is actually because my eldest daughter is reading it for a book group and she was debating whether to do it or not. And I've read Wuthering Heights a few times. I read it myself as a teenager when I was about 14, 15, and I loved it. And then I think I'd reread it possibly when I was at university. And then I didn't read it for years. And then about 10 years ago, I reread it to teach it for A-level. And I wasn't as keen, but then I was kind of like, oh yeah, but teenagers will love it. I loved it as a teenager. And they didn't. they hated it, and then I found myself defending it, and now I'm reading it again really just for pleasure. I'm loving it again. But it's funny, isn't it, how the same book, I've read it at different times of my life, possibly for different reasons, and had different reactions to it. So I'm about a third of the way through it again, and I'm really enjoying it. And I know that there is a new film adaptation coming out, but I also know from what I have seen, even just from the trailer, I can see full well it's loosely inspired by some of the characters from Wuthering Heights. It is not going to be a true retelling of the book, and that's fine if I know that when I see it. What did we start to... Oh, we started to watch a version of Frankenstein a few weeks ago, and again, absolutely not a true telling, but also not very good, not particularly well done either. I got bored. So I'm hoping that won't be the same with the new Wuthering Heights film. It does look good. Anyway, I mean, it looks good as in, looks good as a film, but I don't think it's going to be a good version of Wuthering Heights, if that makes sense. Also, I think the other reason why I've started, I was quite keen to read it again, was in December we went to Haworth in Yorkshire, which is where the Bronte sisters were born and where they lived, and the moors where Wuthering Heights is set is all in that area, and that kind of just made me fall in love with that area again. So while I'm reading the book, I can really imagine the moors and the countryside, and yeah, the whole, I wouldn't say romanticism, and I think this is where people get mixed up when they talk about Wuthering Heights being a romantic book. It's not romantic as in love and romance, Valentine's romance. It's romantic in terms of the romantic movement. And now I'm going into English literature teacher mode, aren't I? So I'm going to stop talking now, but I'm just going to say the romanticism of the moors as in the romantic movement. Wuthering Heights, really enjoying reading it while I'm knitting. I will stop. I will take the English teacher mode off again now. Okay, right. I've really been getting back into my reading again recently, which has been lovely actually. I've been listening to audiobooks, and in fact I was winding up a load of new skeins of yarn to take to with Northwest Winter Wool Festival, and as I was winding them and labelling them, I was listening to an audiobook called The Shadow of the Wind, which was a really popular book about 20 years ago when it came out, and so actually I named quite a few of the colourway names for those yarns have been named after characters and things from Shadow of the Wind actually. So yeah, I've been really enjoying reading books, reading paper books, reading my Kindle, and listening to audiobooks while I've been dyeing and things like that. So that's been really nice actually, getting back into my reading. Okay, I think that is all my whips to show you, but I did say about acquisitions. So the temperature blanket, I knew I was going to need a load more white if we were into, it looked like I was going to finish a ball by the middle of February. So I thought, right, I'll buy 3 more balls of white. I mean, I don't know why I didn't do the maths and maybe buy more. 3 more balls of white, plus I knew as well that when I had bought the yarn in the first place, I had missed one of the colourways, which was Toy, which is actually for the hottest colour. So I bought one of those. So that had taken me to about £25 or something. No, it didn't take me to £25 for 4 balls of Stylecraft Special DK. Probably only about £12, £10, who knows. So I thought, right, I'll get 2 more balls of sock yarn because my daughter's boyfriend, I made him some socks for Christmas and he really loves them and keeps hinting. So I thought, right, I will get another couple of balls of sock yarn, sort of male sock yarn for socks for him. So, and these are beauties actually. So these are opal, and I think these will be lovely for my daughter's boyfriend. So this colourway is 11596 and it's Wacholder Beer. It's gorgeous. We do have a picture of what it will knit up like. And then this one is also from the same range, Opal Wild Nature, and this one is Schaffenwolken. Colourway 11594. Yes, this is 11596, this is 11594. So I bought those two because I thought, right, these are for gifts for my daughter's boyfriend, so I don't need to feel guilty about buying that. That's not me just going, oh, shiny. And then I was still, I don't know, like a couple of pounds short for my free shipping. So I thought, I could see they'd got some deals on. Well, I bought a new crochet hook, a new cable for my Knit Pros. And then I thought I'll have a quick look in their clearance patterns, because they'd got some patterns reduced down to 50p. So I thought, let me have a look in the clearance patterns, see if there's anything in there that I like, and there was, so I'll show you those. So these were 50p each. So I've got two that are Stylecraft cotton DK patterns. So and I do believe I have got some DK cotton I may be able to use. So this one, short sleeve version, long sleeve version. So I thought that was nice, 50p. And this one, again, a mid sleeve version. Can you see the texture? Or a short sleeve version. So I thought that was nice. Again, 50p. Again in the Stylecraft DK, cotton DK. And then this one is a Stylecraft Dreamcatcher DK. Just thought that was a nice, fairly classic kind of drop sleeve jumper. Quite like as well the split hem. Yeah, so don't know what I've got particularly that I would use to knit that, but I just thought it was just for 50p it was a potentially quite a nice, I quite like the rib sleeves. So yeah, I've got those three patterns, and at that point then I think I was at about £31.50 or something like that, so we were all good. So, and other acquisitions. My mum came up for the day a couple of weeks ago, no, last weekend, and she had got a couple of knitting magazines. I think she had bought them in a charity shop or something, and then decided that there wasn't anything left in there that she wanted to knit, but she thought that there were possibly some things I would want. And yeah, there are actually a couple of things. So this one is Simply Knitting, and it's issue 186, so I have no idea when that is from, how old it is. Just going to look to see if there's anything in here that gives any suggestions of the age of it. But anyway, I do quite like that lacy jumper on the top. That is quite me, and I think my mum thought that was quite me. Let's have a look at some of the things that we've got in here. Man's jumper there. Vest top. Oh, I wonder who's done that design. Let me have a look. Page 21. Kids cat jumper. I'm wondering if that's a Jane Burns jumper. Because I know Jane. Well, I say I know Jane. I have met her a few times. And she's really lovely. And it looks like a Jane Burns design. Let's have a look if it is. It is a Jane Burns design. Hi Jane, if you're watching. Okay, so yes, there's a few things in there that have got potential. I actually quite like that flamingo jumper. Where's that flamingo jumper? What page is that? So you see my mum had written on the front what she thought, maybe something to do with a mobile, a blanket question mark, the dress. She knits a lot of children's and baby things. Let's find that flamingo jumper because that is awesome. Where is it? Page 67. How is that not in the contents at the front? Oh my goodness, look at that. That's fun. That is really quite fun. That is, oh, a drops pattern, that one. Right, okay. So And then this was the second magazine, and this was a Knit Now magazine. And look, she's put Amanda on here. And so Knit Now, can we find what number? Issue 100. Now I do actually quite like the sweater on the front. Oh, look as well, we've got Grommet from Wallace and Grommet. So what did she put? Pos Pats. I don't know what that was. Maybe Pat is somebody that she was going to knit something for. And then she's put Amanda. So let's have a quick look if there's see if there's anything in here. So I do like that jumper. Not sure that there's much else in here. Oh, that's quite cute with the hearts. Oh, maybe that one as well, actually. Let's have a look at that one. That is on page 84. Let's have a quick look at that in a bit more detail. I see. I don't like the neckline. Don't like the neckline. It says sizes 6 to 36. So it's very size inclusive. I do like that, but I suppose if I just didn't do the extended rib, if I just did it like that, I'd quite like it. I do like that. And is that like in a chunky yarn? It's an Aran. Okay. It's an Aran. I need to knit something in Aran for my Knit 9, don't I? My Make 9. Right, and the last acquisition, and this was Magpie Amanda going, oh, pretty, I like that. So I have mentioned this charity probably in my last couple of podcasts. It's called Knit for Peace. You can knit items and send them to them, but you can make donations of knitted items, you can make donations of money, you can make donations of yarn, and if they get some nice donations of yarn, they then put that up for sale. So I bought some mohair from them at the end of last year, and then this came up. And it's actually Manos del Uruguay Alegria yarn, and it's basically, if I remember rightly, it's basically kind of a sock yarn. I'm sorry, a sock yarn sort of component. It is, yeah, 75% merino superwash, 25% polyamide. It's really, really soft, and it's called, I think it's called Sherbet Lemonade, or maybe Pink Lemonade. Pink Lemonade. So I saw that and I was like, oh, that is really pretty. I like this sort of, it's not pink really at all. I don't know why it's called Pink Lemonade. It's more peach than pink, but we have got that pink. But this is where the rub, and there's the rub. They didn't have in this lot, because they sold it as a all together. It wasn't just one skein. 2 skeins. Okay, we're thinking pretty good. 3 skeins. We've now definitely got enough to make some kind of top for me, short sleeve top. But in fact, there were 4 skeins of it. And it's really beautifully soft. It's a really pretty peachy pinky colour. And buying it, all the money that I paid for this, excuse me, has gone to that charity. So yes, this colourway at least is no longer dyed. I don't know if the yarn itself, the Manos del Uruguay Alegria, I don't even know if that still exists. And I don't, so yeah, for the price I paid for these, it wasn't like cheap, you know, that's a massive bargain. But for 4 skeins of what looks very similar to hand, in fact, actually, I'm fairly sure Manos del Uruguay is a bit like Malabrigo, that it is kind of hand dyed but by local. Yeah, so Manos del Uruguay, the Hands of Uruguay, is a non-profit organisation which assembles women in cooperatives throughout the countryside of Uruguay. The aim of the organisation is to bring economic and social opportunities to rural women, and it is part of the World Fair Trade Organisation. And it even tells me where this was made and which person dyed it. So it is hand dyed, and it tells me there where and who by. So I feel like, you know, there's just lots of good things about this yarn. So, you know, whoever bought it originally, the money went to Manchester and Uruguay, which is a non-profit organisation. And then when I bought it from Knit for Peace, the money was going to another charity organisation. So, you know, when this has passed hands, this has, you know, given money to really worthy causes. And that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Okay? Alright, so that is everything, guys. That is everything. So yes, you can see now why I have really got a lot of knitting to do in February if I am going to finish February having more out of my stash than has come in. Hey, I know you guys will forgive me, because last time I said forgive me and you all said, hey, nothing to forgive, Amanda. So hopefully you'll feel the same this time. Thank you so much for watching, for commenting, for liking, subscribing, hyping, and anything and everything else that you do on my videos. I really appreciate it. I'm so looking forward to Northwest Winter Wool Festival next weekend and saying hello and meeting some of you in person. And then in March, for the first time ever, we're going to be at East Anglia Yarn Festival. So again, please come and say hello. I do sometimes go a little bit shy when people come up to me, but that, you know what it's like. But that doesn't mean I don't want you to come and say hello. I absolutely love it. My husband will be at both of those shows, definitely all day on the Saturday. With those shows, he may leave the lunchtime on the Sunday because he'll have to come back for work and stuff, so we'll see. But he'll definitely be there all day on the Saturday and certainly on the Sunday morning with both those shows. So as I say, thank you so much for everything you do to support me, guys, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.